Black women over 40, no one told us how expensive it is to have peace. And I realized if I didn't sit down now and make a plan, I could be working forever. Today, I want to share what woke me up financially, the mistakes I realized I was making, and the plan I'm putting together before I turn 50, which is in 4 months, so I can actually have options later. So let's talk about this wake-up call. Okay, so much has transpired throughout my years of working, and I know you can probably relate to this as well. That's why we having this conversation, because when we have our talks, we just be relating to one another, because I think this is like universal BS. I don't know. But let me tell you something. I got here burnout, work stress, health scares, and just always feeling like you in survival mode. And I don't want to get to the point where I'm at the tail end when I can do my withdrawals on my retirement, and I can't because I'm sitting here scared of worrying about what the economy's looking like, worrying about this, worrying about that. And then I'm sitting here and I'm chained to a desk chair, or I'm chained to whatever it is that I'm working. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I look at so many people. I understand some people definitely have to work. I get it. I understand everybody's situation is totally different. But I feel like when we have these conversations earlier and we can kind of course correct, we may not be in that bind. I feel like sometimes we don't have the conversations, and then when you don't know, you don't do better. And sometimes when I talk to certain people about their retirement plan, things like that, they're like, wow, I wish I could have did this sooner. I wish I could have did that sooner. You know, I had this going on and I didn't know I could have did this. Again, we're just not being educated enough to make a plan. It doesn't have to be an extravagant plan. It can just be something to start out with. And then as we get closer, we can kind of get aggressive, lean back, whatever that might look like. So let's lean into this toxic work environment. Like, I know we've all been there where we work somewhere and it was just bananas. And we were like, you know what, this cannot be it. But sometimes you just have to stay because you know you like the money, or maybe the commute might not be that long, or maybe it works out with you if you got childcare. I've been through all those scenarios, and I sit back and I'm like, you know what? I know life is not easy, but does it have to be hard? Why do people just have to be evil? And that's when I sit back and think about, you working at a place, right? The work is the work. The work is the work, but you got to do with the actual people. You may have management who might be dealing with something at home, dealing with something in general, or they boss might be on their tail and they don't have an outlet. So guess what? They take it out on the staff. They indirectly do it. They directly do it. No one has time for that. Or you got the people that just want to flex and show that they are the boss. Let me tell you something. I am a manager where I am right now, and I do not do that. I am a dream manager. Anybody would want to have, because one, I'm laid back. I don't micromanage, and my thing is, when we get the work done, we get the work done. Do your normal work, and then kind of relax a little bit, because we're going to have a moment when we're going to have to pick back up again, and that's when the teamwork come in. But for the most part, that nonstop beat. No, I can't do it. I don't like it. And I understand certain generations do that. That shows work ethics. That shows grit. That shows grind. That shows that you on top of your things. No. This last year, I have become an emotional eater. For some of you that know, I had went down to 155. I was a Slim Jim, okay? And now I'm at 172, holding strong. Nothing wrong with that, but I know for my body frame, that's too much. My knees is like, no. My ankles is like, nah. Can't do it. And all of this is stemming from just work, life in general. It's like, when do you got to sit down and say, you know what? I'm going to take care of myself. I see so many people that I even work with that do not put their health first. Do not put their well-being first. What comes first is that job. No. And just realizing that time is just moving so fast. Time is not waiting for no one. When we were younger, we didn't have a concept of time. We felt like it was taking forever to get 18. It was taking forever to get 21 so we could have a drink. It was taking forever for Christmas to get here. It was just taking forever for everything. Now, it's Monday. The weekend is over. It's Monday. And I sit here and I'm like, time is moving so fast. And then, I always say I got more years behind me than I got in front of me. I'm going to make the best of my years in front of me. I know I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. I am my mom's wildest dreams. People that came before me, they definitely had it harder. I get it. But paying homage is just having respect for it and saying, you know what, you've had to go through this, that, and the third. I do not. I have more options. So you know what? Let me utilize them because they did pave the way. It's not about sitting here and beating. It's not about that. But I want to just give that, the wake up call, what hit me, what made me have to sit and say, you know what, Kelly, life is too short and there's more to it. And I understand everybody want to make a lot of money. I know a lot of people who make a lot of money. My uncle was one. Bless his soul. And you get so caught up in making all that money, spending all that money, living the life, being present, which is good. We want to be present. But when it's all over with and you sit back and you look at your life and you're like, damn, I was busy living, making all that money. And now I'm sitting here, bones, knees aching, and I ain't got nothing to say for it. I can't even stop because I was too busy living for the moment. We're going to live for the moment, but we're going to plan right. And we're going to be sustainable. That's one thing that my highest goal is to be sustainable, to sustain my lifestyle, whatever that might be. But I don't have to have all of this. I can bring it down. I can bring it down. But I had to really ask myself, is this really life? Like, is this really life? Is life supposed to be hard? Is life supposed to be on edge? Am I'm supposed to have Sunday scaries? Am I supposed to, if I take a day off, but yet I'm still nervous about going in because I don't know how he or she attitude is going to be or what's going on? That's not life. That is not life. And I understand people might say, oh, let it roll off your back. Don't pay them people no mind. This, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. You can let but so much roll off your back, okay? Have you ever woke up one day and realized that time moved faster than you thought? So while you thinking about that, I had to sit back and think about the truth about money. I had to think about the truth about it. I had to sit back and say, you know what? This is stuff that, again, man-made, money. And we sit here and in order for us to have the life that we think we need from social media or what we think we supposed to have according to what maybe our cousin or a friend or somebody may have. I'm pulling junk out the air at this point. What does it look like for you? And that's when I had to sit back and say, what's it like for me? What do I actually want? Yes, I like nice things. I like to go and travel and do things. And that stuff does cost money because the way the world has been designed. Absolutely. But we're not traveling every day. We're not traveling every other month. So you plan for these things, but the everyday life, what does that look like? I had to come clean with it. So I said, what's my reality? What does that look like? So I had to sit back and say, what's my pension reality? My savings reality? What my healthcare reality looks like, before that Medicare kicks in and things like that. And also realizing that retirement isn't an automatic thing. It's not automatic. As much as we may sit and think, oh, when we start working, we going to get this, it's still not automatic. Because at the end of the day, I can sit and say, I want to retire right now. My 50th birthday present to myself is to retire. Guess what? All them perks that come with it ain't going to hit at 50. Some things hit at 55. Some things hit at 62. Some things hit at 65. So it's not automatic. So I have to figure out all different things in between. And what's a reality retirement for me? Yes, we all can work and work as long as we possibly can. But I sit back and think about, okay, yeah, I'm working this job. I'm working as long as I possibly can. I'm getting this big paycheck. I'm getting my health insurance. But yet, on the flip side, I'm not living my life. I'm living for the weekend. And then my body is deteriorating. Yeah, you keep up with yourself. You go to the doctor. You go to the gym. You do all different things. You eating well. You getting your roughage. And, we getting all the things that we need. But at the end of the day, your body doesn't stay at the 20 mark forever. When you get 30, you lose this. When you get 40, you lose that. That's why we sitting taking collagen. We taking extra estrogen. We doing all these different things. And it goes for men too. Don't get something like, you got diabetes or high blood pressure or, cholesterol. All that stuff is internal. We may feel good. We may feel like an Energizer bunny, but we don't know how them arteries look on the inside. We ain't getting that test done. So I sit back and think about, you know what? How do you live a good life? And I'm thinking about all of it. All of this is a part of me and my retirement plan. I know I am a chatty patty right now, but I'm being very realistic with you on how this whole retirement plan is in my space right now. Because me sitting here thinking, okay, I got this, I got that, I'm gonna be good. But at the end of the day, all these numbers are based upon how long you work and how much salary you had at your job. Social Security, I know I'm going a little bit left right now. Social Security is based upon your last 5 years of work. So some people, they make six figures, high, six figures. Some people make, right at the 90, the 70, the 50s, whatever that might look like. Some people don't even get to the 50s. And you sit back and think about what people retirement looks like. Their Social Security look like. Pension is based upon what you put in. And then another percentage and other couple of calculations and stuff on the back end. Having our very first conversation about retirement was out of frustration for me. I'm going to be so honest with you. Having that conversation was out of frustration for me. And I had to sit back and think about my well-being. And do I want to sit here and be a part of the rat race? So that's how this whole retirement even came. Because, we don't really talk about this. But I'm coming to realize it's something that we do need to talk about because I'm feeling this way. And guess what? So are you. So in saying all of that, I realized I needed more options. I needed to figure out what was my retirement plan. So what am I actually doing? What am I going to do? Well, first and foremost, you guys know I'm meeting with a financial planner, and that's coming up soon. And I'm excited because I've been writing down so many different things, and I see myself with a little notebook. I'm writing everything down, and I'm writing the same questions over and over again because I'm saying it like 10 different ways, and I have to realize, Kelly, just ask the question, get your answer, and move on from there. I don't want to overwhelm anybody because I don't want to get overwhelmed. But yet, in one sense, hey, you the financial advisor, you need to be overwhelmed. Answer my question. Answer my questions. So in addition to the finance planner, I'm going to be learning more about the IRA and the pensions, what my pension might look like. Because even though I have it, I know what I'm contributing, I need to really get into those calculations, how I mentioned before. I need to know exactly what's going on. And I also want to do an IRA. And I don't know if it's Roth or if it's IRA. I know one is like a salary limit or something like that. You can't make but so much. And the other one, you can kind of just go ham at it if you want to. I'm going to be tracking my expenses, honestly. And I do that now, but I'm really going to go a little bit harder. I want to see if I can really cut back. For me right now, I know what I spend. Like I have a budget where I just That's my budget where I could do whatever I want to do. That's me getting gas, maybe a Target run. And I don't mean a Target run where I'm going crazy. I might need to get maybe deodorant, or I'll go to Walmart, CVS, whoever I buy at the moment. I got to get some deodorant or whatever I need, toothpaste. I will go get it. Or this is like my little catch-all. It's not a high limit at all, but it's realistic. It's something, if I use a particular credit card or if I use cash, I can pay it back at the end of the month, or I can pay it back when it's time at, the billing cycle if I use a card. I be very realistic with myself. One thing about Kelly does not live above her means. I live below my means. Because at the end of the day, if something happens, I always want to make sure that my bills are paid. Some people feel like once you get a raise, that means, okay, we could do this now. No, 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 no. I learned so much from working on grants, and I apply my life the way I work on my grants. And it may not be a good thing, but it is a good thing, because I tell my grantees, I let them know, hey, yes, you're getting some extra funds. You can do this, you can do that, but never put it on salaries, because you can't sustain it. And I took that principle and I put it towards my life. I said, Kelly, if you get a raise and you get some more money, be realistic with yourself. Don't go out and buy something crazy or do something wild, because you don't know if this is going to be forever. Because you don't know. These jobs, you don't know. You just don't know. But take the money, put it to the side, save it, or use it for something once you save a certain amount of money. Because when you sit back and say, oh, okay, well, now I got an extra $600-700 in my paycheck, I'm going to go get a new car. No, we're not doing that. In addition to tracking my expenses and being, a little bit more frugal, I'm going to reduce my expenses. And that might mean, the cable bill. We may not need all them channels. Because at the end of the day, are you watching all them channels? You just have it just to have it. Sometimes you get so comfortable in that. Do you need all those Netflix and Hulus and Disneys and all that? Me personally, I don't have it, but I'm just giving you an example. I'm not a big TV watcher, but I thought that would be a really good example, because I know a lot of people do watch TV. I know my mom is a really heavy TV watcher, but that's from that generation. I feel like if we would have still had shows like What's Happening Now, Give Me a Break, Three's Company, all those, I probably would still be a TV watcher. But unfortunately, we don't have shows like that anymore. So your girl just be YouTubing her heart out. So subscriptions is not really a bind for me. But there's other things that I do and have that I can, say, Kelly, do you really need it, or this is more for pleasure or leisure? And that's where I need to make that decision for myself. In addition, downsizing. Do I need this house? Now, you sit back, and I'm a thinker and I'm a number cruncher. So I sit back and say, okay, you go get an apartment and you cut your living expenses in half, right? But throughout the years, rent does go up. And before you know it, you will reach your mortgage payment, right? So I sit back and think about how much money I paid in rent when I was living in New York in a 1-bedroom. I was paying $1,200 then, and that was what, 2007? And here we are now. Now, down here, of course, a 1-bedroom is maybe $1,200. So you can see the difference from North Carolina to New York, depending on where you stay. And that's living in a nice area. You ain't got to live in the hood, nothing like that. But that just lets you know the difference. So I know New York price right now for 1-bedroom probably is through the roof. It's probably mortgage payments for me. But I sit back and I think about downsizing may be an option, but yet you sit back and you do the course of the years on when that number will possibly get to your mortgage and things like that. But yet still having a home, there's other things that come with it. So even if your rent catches up to your mortgage, and this is my example, this is for me because this is what I'm doing. There's other things that come into having a house. You got to do your grass, property tax. If something breaks, that's on you. Any type of maintenance, you have to do like your roof, water heater, all the different things, alarm systems, all these different things that come with having a home. It's it's a lot. It is a lot, but here we are, right? So the purpose of me doing this type of scan and what I'm looking at right now is pretty much to reduce some of my expenses and protect my savings, protect what I have going on so I can be okay in the future, however that might look. Because early retirement can be challenging. The more I talk about it, the more we dive deeper into it. This is why we get so caught up working these jobs as long as we do. And I sit back and be like, I remember when retirement was like younger. And they looking at people living longer. So they're like, oh, if you could live longer, you could work longer to keep the workforce going, keep the economy going. Let the people sit down. I want to sit down. So what do black women over 40 need to think about? I have a ton of examples because a lot of these examples, they reflect me, and I want to be just as vulnerable to you as you are to me so we can work through this together. So I have here something we think about, caregiving responsibilities. You guys know I'm a caregiver. I do take care of my mom. So you have to factor all of that in. Like, not am I only finding a place for me and my daughter to stay, I'm finding a place for my mom to stay because I am now her caregiver. Some of us are going to be caregivers. Some of us may not be able to be caregivers. You may have to go into, facilities and things like that. But that's what have to be thought about, in your family dynamic. But for me, I chose to care for my mom. I also have here helping adult children. My youngest daughter, she's 19. She's going to be 21 soon. Am I going to throw her out? Absolutely not. Am I going to be there for her? Absolutely. If my oldest need me, I'm going to be there for her too. But all this has to be done within reason. And you guys know I have a help me fund and for my kids only. I do spoil mine. My mom spoiled me. I'm not going to hold you. Let me put that out there. My mom spoiled me, and if I ask my mom for something, she gonna give it to me. You know what I mean? I did the same thing to mine. And I'm very fortunate. My kids are fortunate. We are a very fortunate dynamic. And I never want to be ungrateful for that because that's definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing. And also, we have to think about feeling like we starting late and we're behind. Let me tell you something. Better late than never. Don't ever make yourself feel like you're too late. Hey, look at me. 49 in a minute, about to be 50, and I'm sitting here trying to scramble up and get things together. I'm thinking about, oh, I know I got this, I know I got that. But at the end of the day, it's never going to add up to what I'm making from the job. But then I sit here, I'm like, but I don't want to go through that stress anymore. I don't want to wake up to the alarm. I don't want to hustle and bustle in the traffic. I don't want to do all of that. So what do you do? How do you fix that? How do you fix it? And it's just like having these fears, thinking about these type of questions and scenarios. Don't have the fear. Do not have a fear of asking these questions to yourself. This is the time to actually sit back and say, you know what? I need to, how they say it, put boots to the ground and all other nonsense so I can get things in order. Get things in order to live the life that you want to live. I look at so many different people and, they may make a high salary, but then they look at the 401s and the different type of pensions, whatever they might have, and they still sit back and be like, it's not enough. It might be either $1,000 short, which is a lot of money, or $200 short, and they looking trying to figure out, well, I don't know. I know. I want to enjoy my life while my legs is still moving. I don't want to be limping. I don't want to do any of that. And you know what? And I don't want to say this, but you never know what tomorrow might bring. Something might be hurting on me. Shoot, I'm sitting talking about right now, I got to get me a new mattress. I'm hoping and praying it's the mattress and it ain't nothing else. You know what I mean? I want to live life while things are still good. I just do. I just do. And I don't think that's selfish. I don't think that's unrealistic. But I know I have to be the one to make sure that I have my ducks in a row to make that happen for myself. Just always know some of us are starting over at 40 and 50. Here. And it's okay. It is okay. Because let me tell you something. People start over at 60, 70, or whenever. Whenever. You know, don't ever feel like you are behind the wall. Just get in front of it, okay? Retirement for me isn't a luxury vacation. It's peace for me. It's peace for me. It's waking up without stress. And I want that for every Black woman over 40 who is watching this. So if you enjoyed this conversation and you got some really, really good insight on what you want to do for your retirement, share this with another Black woman over 40. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you have going on. Hype the video up, all the different things, so we can reach other Black women over 40 who is sitting here trying to figure out, who already has figured out what they're going to do when it comes to retirement. We're building a community here, and we want to make sure that everybody has all the information that they actually need. Okay? I'll catch you in the next conversation.